So the other day I made a video calling Ryan Clark a racist. I stand by those comments 1,000%. The reason why I called him a racist on this day was he said that Bill Belichick was too white to coach the Atlanta Falcons in the city of Atlanta. The comment section was not happy. Everybody was calling me a racist. And I'm going to make two things clear. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever you are. If you're acting like a fool and it catches my eye, I'm going to talk about it. I don't give anybody a pass on my show because of their ethnicity, because of their religion. Nobody calls me a racist when I make videos of Conor McGregor acting like a fool, Travis Kelce, Joe Biden, Taylor Swift, Joe Rogan. I make plenty of videos about all different races acting a fool. Me calling Ryan Clark a racist had nothing to do because Ryan Clark is a confident black man, like I heard over and over in the comments section, which was absolutely ridiculous. And here's another thing. It doesn't matter what ethnicity I am. No matter what ethnicity I am going to stick to the truth. Whether I was black, white, Spanish, Asian, other, Indian, Samoan, I'm going to tell the truth no matter what. So stop with all the nonsense, because it doesn't matter. So the first thing that a lot of people in the comment section didn't like that I said about Ryan Clark was I said that he was fragile. Oh, you're trying to say that Ryan, he's a fragile black man because, you know, he speaks with passion and emotion and he loves what he does and you don't know anything about that and blah, blah, blah. That's not why I called him fragile whatsoever. I called him fragile because he used to have a coworker named Sage Steele. She is black. She is openly conservative. Ryan Clark refused to work with Sage Steele because she's an open conservative. She supports the military, the troops, the flag. All of the ESPN analysts followed Ryan Clark's lead, refusing to work with her. She could no longer work on ESPN. If you look up Sage Steele and you get into her story and you hear her tell her story growing up, how she encountered racism, Ryan Clark knows her story. Now, Ryan Clark is always saying, you know, about the culture and I have to protect the culture and black women, I'm here to protect them. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with a black person showing support or love to another black person or being supportive or supporting the culture, as Ryan Clark says. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Just because you're pro-black doesn't mean you're anti-anything. I say this all the time. You want to see your people do well? Great. Fantastic. That's positivity. It's not negativity. So then why the hell would Ryan Clark refuse to work with a black female co-host because she had different political views than him? A female that might have encountered the same racial or prejudice, negative things directed at her like Ryan Clark may have encountered. Why would you refuse to work with her? You know why? Because you're fragile. That's why. You're this big tough guy, but you can't work with a female reporter that has different political views than you. That's why I called the man fragile. Had nothing to do with his color, had nothing to do with emotion, had nothing to do with any of that. Then I said, a lot of people in the comment section were mad that I said that he has a God complex. Let me explain that comment. When you watch Ryan Clark on set, he takes over the entire show. There's nothing wrong with him saying his piece, but when it's time for anybody else to talk, he doesn't let anybody else talk. And he constantly interrupts them. And if they have a different opinion of Ryan Clark, he screams and yells over them, or he dismisses them, and he just doesn't act professional, period. Now, this is where the God complex comes in. So, I'll give you a perfect example, and I'm going to put it up in the video. Him and Mad Dog, they were discussing the MVP. Mad Dog Russo, a Caucasianoid, white, old man that's been loud his whole career, no matter who he's speaking to. He was speaking in his normal voice tone to Ryan Clark. And even if he did raise his voice, Ryan Clark raises his voice and screams on set the entire time. He talks down to everybody. Ryan Clark interprets that as he's speaking down to me. The evil old white man is speaking down to me because I'm black. That's the way he interpreted it.
Oh, no,
he was huffing and puffing, walking off set, coming back. Stop raising your voice to me. You know, just acting ridiculous. Meanwhile, every day when he's on set, he screams and yells and talks down to everybody. And if somebody tries to talk, he talks over them. Am I lying? Let me know when I'm lying. That's receipt number 2. That's why I said he has a God complex. I'm here. I can speak to everybody how I want. I can put my opinion out there, whether it's sports or politics. And if anybody has a different opinion than me, I'm going to yell and scream over them, or I'm going to refuse to work with them. So that's why I called him fragile. That's why I said he has a God complex. Nothing to do with the man's race. Nothing to do with his color. It's absolutely ridiculous in the comments on the video that I made that gets said. Let's talk about the Bill Belichick comments that he made, saying that Bill Belichick was too white to coach in the city of Atlanta. Do you know the Falcons' history, Ryan Clark? Well, I do. Dan Reeves. I mean, if you think Bill Belichick is white bread, I guess you don't know who Dan Reeves is. Because he was the last coach of the Falcons to take him to the Super Bowl. He was whiter than rice, and he was kind of bland. The city didn't have a problem with him, Ryan Clark. It seems like you only have a problem with Caucasianoid coaches. So me saying you're a racist, I believe you're a racist because of what comes out of your mouth, not what comes out of my mouth. So everybody in the comment section blaming me for what Ryan Clark says, you're delusional. Everything that I just said, I'm going to put a video up in the video. I'm putting another video that you can watch. I'm not making any of this up. These statements came from Ryan Clark's mouth, and these are the facts why I used these words. Again, if somebody on that set that he works with said that Jared Mayo is too urban to coach the Patriots, the world would explode. They'd get fired from their job. They'd never be able to work in media again. Their life would be over. They'd be forever a racist. Why does that standard not apply to Ryan? Everybody else gets held to the highest standard, but Ryan Clark, day after day after day, gets to say racist things. These are his words, not mine. So let's go to the real reason why Ryan Clark hates Josh Allen. Ryan Clark loves to dog out Josh Allen every chance he gets, and he knows as well as I do. It's because of the tweets that Josh Allen made in college at Wyoming. A lot of people felt that he made disparaging remarks about black people on his Twitter when he was in college. And Josh Allen owned up to the tweets. He said he was immature. He apologized. A lot of people will say, oh, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Somebody stole my account. Ryan Clark, if you don't accept his apology, no big deal. That's your right. If you don't like the guy just because he's Caucasian and he's boring and he likes country music, no big deal. It's your right. That's your right. If you don't like white people, that's cool. But when you get up there every day and you make it seem like he's some third-tier quarterback, you're making a fool out of yourself. You can't be objective and do your job professionally when you only do your job based off of race. So, for example, if a quarterback was orange and he was the greatest quarterback you've ever seen, shouldn't you just say, regardless of his color, that's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen? I don't think that Josh Allen, that'll turn into, you think Josh Allen is the greatest quarterback. I never said he was the greatest quarterback ever. But the way that Ryan Clark describes him, you would think he's some high school quarterback that throws for 120 yards and one touchdown and a pick every game. You're making a fool out of yourself, Ryan Clark. Let's go to Aaron Rodgers. For years, you attacked Aaron Rodgers. They asked Aaron Rodgers, what's the problem? Aaron Rodgers, I never talked to that dude in my life. You used to call him arrogant, all types of things. Again, another Caucasianoid guy that you could consider, kind of square, whatever. He was arrogant. He was this. He was that. It went on for years. Aaron Rodgers never addressed it. Finally, he addresses it, and you didn't think he ever would. And Aaron Rodgers said, let it go, buddy, making a clown out of you. And you probably realize, like, man, I sound like a total idiot attacking this guy for no reason. And then you claim he's the best quarterback you've ever seen. Well, guess what? For the last 10 years, you weren't saying that. He was everything but that. Again, you don't like white people? No big deal, Ryan. No, it's not a big deal. Nobody's tuning in to hear your politics, whether you like white people, don't like. We want to hear your insight into football. I love the Steelers. I love physical defense. I love physical, violent defense. If I'm not crazy about Ryan Clark, I'm going to be objective. He played the game the way it's supposed to be played. Violent and physical. Smash mouth Steeler defense. He's got some of the biggest hits. Next to him and James Harrison have some of the biggest hits that you've ever seen in the highlight reel. Crushing people. He played the game. It was the way it's supposed to be played. Who he likes or who he doesn't like, I could care less. If he just stuck to football, out of everybody on the set, he's really the only guy I want to hear from because I know he put it on the line and he played the game the way I like it to be played. But since he does things based off of race, every time he's on television, I just turn it off. Boom, off. Don't want to hear it. Bye. Don't got time for it. Now, if Ryan Clark wanted to have a political show, which I think he should do, as long as he lets other people talk, we should have a podium. Everybody has a podium. You bring up a topic. Everybody gets to say their opinion. I'd watch the show. I'm not going to lie. I'd watch the show. But that's not what he does. The next issue, the Russell Wilson, Sean Payton issue. Right away, Ryan Clark, right to race. He's saying that Russell Wilson was mistreated because he was black. Russell Wilson had $50 to $60 million left on his contract. They know that the Denver Broncos know that Russell Wilson loves to play football. They used mafia strong-arm tactics, and the Denver Broncos said, if you give us back that money, we won't bench you the last couple games. It's 1,000% wrong. Russell Wilson is a class act. They used mafia tactics to shake him down for the money. It was about business. Business and $50 to $60 million. It wasn't about race. But Ryan Clark, not once, mentioned business. It was all about personal, color, race, ethnicity. Well, then you're naive. And another thing that he said that was super naive was this. He felt that Sean Payton was acting on his own and the organization needed to step in and stop him and then fire him. If you really believe that the Denver Broncos organization wasn't telling Sean Payton, listen, make him as uncomfortable as possible, I want that money back, you're a fool. It's $50, $60, $70 million. The entire organization was in on that, treating Russell Wilson like garbage. Is it messed up? 1,000% wrong. Did it have to do with race? Had nothing to do with race. Now, we can get even further into this. The Legion of Boom. Marshawn Lynch. What color is he? Black. Marshawn Lynch. Earl Thomas. Richard Sherman. They all criticized the hell out of Russell Wilson. It's nothing but negativity. Russ was a diva. If we called him, his assistant called back. We didn't even have his phone number. The entourage in the locker room with Ciara having his own office like he wasn't one of the guys. The Legion of Boom couldn't stand Russell Wilson. What color was the Legion of Boom? I don't mean the color of their uniforms. What color was every player in the Legion of Boom? That's right, they were black. They all couldn't stand Russell Wilson. Not because he was black, because of the way he acted. So maybe that's why Sean Payton had a problem with him. Now, the way they were treating him was about business, money, not color, but that's what you get when you deal with Ryan Clark. Let's talk about Bill Belichick once more. Ryan Clark tries to imply that Bill Belichick was only good because of Tom Brady. Ryan, what coach that's a great coach doesn't have great players? I'll wait 1,000 years for you to answer this question. Every great coach has great players. That's how they win. You can't be a great coach with crappy players and win this. That's not how the NFL works, and you know it. And if you really want to dig deeper into this argument, I'm going to give you a fact and a stat that you don't like. I'm pro Tomlin. Tomlin is the best man for the job in Pittsburgh. I'm going to tell you why. Dealing with today's player, he has the perfect attitude because most of the players are divas. Everybody always thinks the grass is greener on the other side. Okay, you get rid of Tomlin. Name the person you're going to replace Tomlin with. I'll wait. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. So I don't want to hear that I'm anti-Tomlin. But Mike Tomlin, when he won his Super Bowl, the starting offense and defense was picked by Bill Cowher and his staff. Once that roster had to be redone, Tomlin has not been deep in the playoffs since. It's just a fact. He won the Super Bowl with Coach Cowher's players. Bill Cowher's players. That's who he won the Super Bowl with. So this whole notion that, Bill Belichick is only a great coach because he had Tom Brady. You're saying that because he's white. You know that's why you're saying it. The evil old white Bill who doesn't smile. Well, that's another thing since we're on the topic. You said that Raheem Morris smiles and Bill Belichick doesn't. That's why Raheem deserves the job. Whenever you play for Mike Tomlin, when have you seen Mike Tomlin after a game at the podium where they win or lose smile? Never. Because when they deal with the media, they play a character. Now, when they go into the locker room, you see their true emotions. Jared Mayo, the new coach of the Patriots, they asked him one time on camera, tell us something about Belichick that would surprise us. And he said his sense of humor and the way he is with the team compared to the way he is with the media. It's an act. Ryan Clark already knows what I'm saying is true. The only reason why he crushes Belichick is for racial reasons, and he knows it. He does it for one reason. Bill, to him, is the evil old white man, and he knows it. I mean, look, Bill is too white to coach in Atlanta. Do I need to say any more? You know, and the other narrative that Ryan Clark used to like to spin all the time is, Tom Brady's only good because he's with Belichick. Well, when Tom Brady left Belichick, he went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. They got 6 Super Bowl rings, and they technically should have 8. The catch on the helmet with Tyree, 1 in a million, and the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl that the Eagles lost where they didn't punt the ball one time. The defense couldn't stop anybody. Is that Tom Brady's fault? Don't tell me I'm a Tom Brady fan. And one more thing to all the people in the comments section. I never once said that Bill Belichick deserves that job over Raheem Morris. Me personally, Belichick is 70-something years old. I like to see a younger guy get his turn. The point of my video was to point out how Ryan Clark gets to be racist on a daily basis, not be held accountable, and gets judged under a different set of standards than everybody else. That was the point of my video. This whole that I'm racist and I don't want to hear a confident black man talk, that is a bunch of garbage. Nobody on my channel gets a pass. I have plenty of videos criticizing white people, everybody. So it doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what religion you are. You could be doing something good or something bad. If it catches my eye and I want to make a video on it, nobody gets a pass. Ryan Clark, again, here's some advice for you. Be a professional. Be like Andrew Hawkins the other day. Came on, didn't bring up race, gave a point of view. Hey, a lot of teams don't want to give total power over to Bill. That's why I think he didn't get hired. You don't have to agree with his opinion. You could have said, well, it's past Bill's time. The players can't relate. But to indicate he can't coach the Falcons because he's too white, you have a pattern of showing that you don't like Caucasianoids. It's no big deal. To me, it's not a big deal. I'm not tuning in to hear who you like or don't like. But as a professional, you could still put all that to the side and be objective, even when you have a white player you might not like because of his skin, and be like, yeah, he's a great player, and do your job. It's really as simple as that.